Hi, this is Adam. Welcome to the Athlete's Pursuit of Excellence training vlog number 15. This week, the vlog will be divided into three parts that will help you be the best athlete you can possibly be. In the first part, we'll analyze my physical training. This week, we'll analyze 7 days of training camp with my team Elevate Webiplex Pro Cycling. Then I'll describe the strength training exercise of the week. This week, we'll analyze a core exercise, which is a Superman on a Bossu. Then we'll switch to the mental training of the week. This week we'll look together at my 5 favorite lessons from Migel Ruiz books, The 4 Agreement. It will help us improve our performance on and off the bike. So just before we start, if you want to take your performance to the next level by improving your training on and off the bike, your nutrition and your recovery, I have a few places left in private coaching. You can email me if you're interested. All the details are on my Patreon. Also, if you like the content, don't hesitate to share it with your others athletes. Comment, like, and subscribe. It's always nice to see the appreciation. So now let's start right away. So for physical training, this week we'll analyze the training camp with Elevate Webiplex Pro Cycling. So to start, before we go into detail in each training day, I thought it would be interesting to describe a typical training camp day. So a typical day starts at about 7 a.m. Personally, I take the first 15 minutes to review my goals for the day, to do a mobility session and some breathing exercise. At 7:30, I am having breakfast. So our soigneur usually prepare us omelets, oatmeals, fruit, and a lot of coffee. And between 8:30 and 9 a.m., it's free time. So I personally like to take out a book and do some brain training. At 9:30, everyone is ready to leave for the ride, so our mechanic made sure that our bikes are in perfect condition, so everything is ready to go. When we return from the ride in the afternoon, lunch is served. Most of the time, lunch includes a lot of carbs, a complete protein, and a smoothies. In the afternoon, it's free time, so we take the opportunity to really relax. Some people would take a nap. We'll all get a massage. I'll probably meditate and relax. It's by far the calmest moment of the day. After dinner, the whole team gather in the living room, either to do some video analysis to improve our technical and our tactical ability as a team. And someday the video analysis will be replaced by a meeting with the sponsors. Finally, around 8:30 p.m., everyone goes in their room. Our little personal routine is to include a stretching session, followed by a review of the day, planning for the next, and finally a little bit of reading. Usually my lights, not my lights, but lights are closed around 8:45 and 10 p.m., so it gives me a little sleep of a little bit more than 9 hours. So now if you look at the training more specifically, the 2 first days were quite easy. With traveling and everything, there was no rush to start the training camp strong. So the real first day of training camp was Thursday. So 5 hours and 45 minutes, 144 kilometers with a little less than 3,000 meters of elevation. The beginning of the workout was devoted to a lead-out exercise. So the way we do it is that our manager divided our team into 2 separate teams, and the goal was to win the small race. So the race were on a completely flat course of approximately 5 minutes, so only to simulate like the last 3K of a race. Depending on the composition of my team, the strategy changed a lot. So for example, if my team had one of the best sprinters, we made sure to do everything to make the race finish in a sprint. On the other hand, if my team was mainly composed of non-sprinters, we would make sure to attack left and right and try at all costs to ensure that the race did not end in the sprint. After the lead out, we went up to Mountain Village and made sure to do the last 15 minutes of the climb at race pace. And finally, we ended up the day with 30 minutes all out, last man standing. It was like a race to the death until we got to the last intersection before home. So going crazy. Friday, it was a shorter day, so about 3 hours and 20 minutes and 110K. The main intensity series during the day was to do a 14 time trial of approximately 10 minutes. Again, the team were split into 2. The objective was really quite simple. One team started 15 seconds before the other team, and the second team would try to bring back the first team. So it was really perfect to practice our ability to bring back a late breakaway that is very strong. Saturday we went to a criterium race to do the first race of the year. Unlike last year, we easily won that race by attacking like constantly until a favorite breakaway was created. This year our goal was to wait for the sprint to practice our lead out. So in the end we completely failed. The team finished second, third, fourth, and like sixth, I think, leaving the first place to Justin Williams. Honestly, I really think to lose the first race of the year was a good thing for our team. After the initial frustration, we had a constructive conversation, and I really believe that overall it will allow us to get to the next races with a more precise and carry the plane more efficiently. So Monday, a big day on the bike, a lot of PBs for me for 2020, 6 hour and 24 minutes on the bike, 187 kilometers, 2,897 meters of elevation. It was pretty simple, honestly. It was a race to the top on each climb. For those who look a lot at numbers, on the last climb of about 135 kilometers into the ride, I did 18 minutes at 422 watts at 71 kilogram. It was only 5 seconds from the KWM that James took last year on our training camp. I almost got you, James. Maybe next year. Thursday, we just did a coffee ride. Honestly, after the big days of training, it felt really, really good. And finally, Wednesday, we did 4 hours and 49 minutes, 153 kilometers, 2,900 meters of elevation. It was a day at like a sustained pace, a little bit like that of a peloton that is tracing a strong breakaway. And we added an additional effort of 50 minutes of the famous Mount Palomar. I didn't have my Garmin and no watts and no time, so unfortunately, I cannot tell you about it. So overall, it gives me a total of 26 hours and 28 minutes and 1,300 TSS for the 7 days of training camp. So not too much time on the bike, but a lot of stress on the body. So now for the strength exercise of the week. This week we are going to analyze a core exercise. The exercise in question is a Superman on a Bossu. So first, to do the exercise, we really have to make sure that we have our feet in the middle of this Bossu and find our balance. Then we start to tilt our upper body forward, making sure to keep our head, our shoulder, our hips, our knees, and our ankle really parallel. So to be as straight as possible, it's really, really important to engage our glutes and our core. And regarding the leg on the Bossu, to really keep our stability, we need to make sure to push upwards to engage the right muscle and make sure that our foot also is evenly pressed on the platform. Personally, I use my breathing to help me do the exercise in control. If you feel that the Bossu is too unstable, you can always start by doing the exercise without using the Bossu and just do it on the floor. And when it becomes too easy, you can add the Bossu. And you can also add like a pillow like this if you find the Bossu too unstable and you find the floor too easy. So it's like in the middle. So finally, for the mental training of the week, we will analyze Don Miguel Ruiz's book, The Four Agreements. We will go over and understand my favorite takeaway from the book and see how those pieces of wisdom can improve our performance and better our life. So the first piece of wisdom is to remember that we must always cultivate the discipline to be impeccable with our words. So to never use toxic talk like blaming, criticizing, and complaining, because we know that it will not only pollute the way we think, but it will also have bad consequences on how others respect and trust us. So the second piece of wisdom is we must remember that when we point at someone, there's one finger pointing at them and 3 fingers that are pointing at us. So we must understand that most of our criticism towards others originate with our own shortcoming, and that's why we see them so easily. The third idea is to remember that we need to be careful about our blind agreement and unjustified assumption, and we must always make an effort to do our best to beat ignorance with the courage and willingness to constantly question our surface idea and our surface perception. The fourth idea is really to recognize that we are constantly doing things that serve us and things that deplete us, and our objective is to be aware and differentiate between the two. So we must understand that those toxic ways of doing, those ways that deplete us, they primarily happen when we are unable to pause. So that being said, we need to make sure and make it a priority to create space between the stimulus and the response to give us the opportunity to decide consciously in the favor of what is good for us. And the last idea is really to celebrate any detection of negativity within ourselves, because we understand that noticing is the first step towards change. So we need to remember to be graceful and patient with ourselves, because we know that change is hard and it takes effort and also time. So the automatic things when we see something negative in ourselves is really to beat ourselves over. But what I'm trying to say is really that when we see something negative in ourselves, we need to celebrate it, because we know it's the first first step towards change. So that's it for this week. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you learned something that will help you in your development. If you appreciate the content, don't hesitate to share it with another athlete to help him. And as always, please leave a like or a comment, or subscribe to the channel. It's always a pleasure to see the appreciation. So in the meantime, I hope to see you in vlog number 16, and I wish you a very great week of training. Bye bye.